porn, you used to develop a relationship with one porn star. Like, there's a lot of guys that kind of are want to be monogamous with their person, and that's part of the reason these women are making so much money. They get tips.
Oh,
they
yeah.
have like Angela White. She came on my podcast. Her biggest moneymaker is DMing with men and sending them customized videos men want to be shrunk, and for her to put them in her pocket. And she just sends a video of her putting the man in her pocket.
Is that remember that lit video with Pamela Anderson when we were younger? Is that some weird fantasy back to that?
You
make
maybe.
Make me completely
I think
miserable.
sometimes she eats them. For a little more, I think she'll eat them. But it's like a lot of it seems like it's not just... Because you can find buttholes and crazy sex anywhere on Pornhub.
It's just some weird fetish.
Like that? Remember that?
It's like that exact thing. And she shrinks him down. She goes into Photoshop. She's very savvy with the Photoshop. Shrinks him and then puts him in her pocket. And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild. I don't know. I mean, it seems like there's like I think there's some men on there that kind of don't want to just see some stranger. Because also you go on Pornhub and all these places and you're like, I don't know how old this person is. It's a lot of step brother and steps. I don't know what I'm looking at. You know, I'd rather kind of see a woman breastfeeding so I know that she's, you know.
Yeah, well, there's got to be weird kinks outside of just like regular sex stuff. Like, how many guys like to get their balls stomped on?
What is that? What is that?
I don't know.
That can't be good.
I think some of it is CEOs. I think there's
being denigrated, being humiliated.
I think there's some of these guys that are the head of these giant corporations, and they're under so much crazy stress, and they take some sort of jolly and getting kicked in the nuts and told what to do. Like dominatrixes, they'll tell you they deal with these like high stress guys that run businesses.
I have a friend that did that for a while. She would send this one guy photos of her feet, but she would demand like money from him. That's what he was into. Like, send me $100 right now kind of thing. And then she would insult him. She would just go to his house and insult him while he would jerk off.
Yeah, they call them humiliatrixes.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, okay.
Cool. I mean, I'm encouraged by how popular MILF porn is. That's very promising. It's very promising.
Well, MILFs can keep it together these days. It used to be they didn't lift weights.
There you go.
They didn't take care of their nutrition. They didn't lift weights. So they hit a certain point in time and, you know.
Yeah.
And then there was the MILFs that were like, they had that much sand left in the hourglass, and so they were really horny. Because they knew they only had like that much more time where men found them desirable.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was that, because you remember when I made that robot for one of my specials, I went down to the robot making factory and they told me the most popular request for the sex doll nipples were large and brown. Like the nipple being like almost as big as the boob and dark, which is what happens when you breastfeed. Your nipples get darker.
Oh,
So I thought it was some primordial
Ooh,
thing
could be.
About like dark nipples or something.
Right, it could be. It's like a maternal thing. Ooh.
Or people are just, guys are watching MILF porn to be like, is that what my wife's supposed to look like? Maybe just comparing, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's always heartening when you go to a porn site and MILF is number one. I'm like, yeah.
What's generally the MILF fucks the stepson. That's a lot of it.
What is that?
Well, the dad is an asshole. He was a shitty dad. He was never home. He was mean. And then he gets rid of the mom and gets this new hot monster that lives in his house that's just a cock addict. And then...
Are we running out of taboos, guys? Are we running out of... When did sex get so boring, guys?
Well, that's the most likely one, because you couldn't do it the other way. I guess you could, but it'd be way creepier.
Yeah.
You know, if it was a stepdad and the daughter, that's really creepy.
Thanks. I'm good on that.
But, right? Isn't it funny?
They do that.
I know they do that, but isn't it funny that the stepdad and the daughter creeps me out, but the stepson's like, ha.
For some reason, what is that? It's like if you were to do like professor student, you'd be like, ugh. But if it's like teacher and you're like, and guy, you're like, oh, good for him.
Yeah, I know.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, but it's just we don't worry about boys the way we worry about girls. That's what it is.
I've been trying to write a bit about this for so long, and I think there's a lot of reasons I can't crack it, but it is really like when boys get molested, nobody cares.
Nope. Well, they do if they get molested by men. Then it's murderous.
Yeah. Yeah. And if like an actress in LA gets hugged too long at a Christmas party, like we shut down
Variety, right?
the city.
Front page
we
article.
March. The highways are shut down. Like everyone's like gets fired.
It's interesting. And then there's also that some women, particularly in Hollywood, they use seduction to ingratiate them with people. They will flirt with people to get closer to producers, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, who was the famous one that Tarantino told us about that had a bed in his office where he would bed starlets? And this was like, you know, back in the day in the early movie business. I forget who it was.
Hitchcock?
No, I don't believe
like
so.
He definitely.
But I'm sure it was a common practice.
Yeah.
I think all of those studio heads and all those executives, you know, like Harvey Weinstein was just one of many.
Yep.
That's how they did it. Like you got jobs if you blew guys, and there was a lot of girls that were willing to do that.
Yeah.
And the real actresses would frown upon it and they'd be mad, but a lot of times they'd be boxed out. And we heard those stories.
Yeah. I told you about that time Harvey Weinstein came to the Comedy Store.
No, you didn't.
He came to the Comedy Store. Came in the main room, and I left. And the manager at the time called me, and he's like, "Harvey Weinstein came to see you. You need to come back here right now." And the only reason I didn't go back is because I was like, "No, he saw me in like good lighting. Like I don't want to. I don't want to come back." But
that's hilarious.
Like I missed my window. Yeah.
Yeah, you got lucky.
Yeah.
You dodged that one.
I mean, it is wild though, like how, I mean, when I first moved to LA, people would go, "Oh yeah, you got to sleep with Harvey." Like it was just like people just said it. Like it was like Ellen's mean. Like everyone just said it. Everyone's like, Ellen's mean, and Harvey Weinstein, he has to rape you for you to get a job, and you're like, cool, let me know.
But he made deals with people, right? Like where he really did follow up on his deal.
You won an Oscar.
Yeah.
You know, because Oscars are all bought. You know, it's a lot of money to win an Oscar.
Is it really bought? How much of it's bought?
I mean, Jamie, help. I mean, it's...
I haven't bought one myself.
It's
but
pretty expensive from what I understand. I mean, you do also have to campaign. You have to go to these nursing homes because the voters are in nursing homes. I don't know how it works now. I think they've kind of... You know, I mean, George Lopez is on the board now, so I don't know exactly.
Is he really?
Well, yeah, they really wanted to make a big, you know, diversity push for the board of the Oscars.
Like South Park?
Make it a girl and make her gay. So funny. But it's a big campaign. You have to buy all these ads. You have to, you know.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
It's funny how that's still a big deal. Awards for art.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about this of the new special I did. I'm probably going to get in a bunch of trouble because OnlyFans TV did let me yell about trans people for 30 minutes. But now that Ellen Page is a trans man, can she win an Oscar if she was emotional in a role? Or is that cheating?